we conducted this survey in 25 very diverse countries. We're the members of Alliance2015, which is a network of 8 European independent NGOs. Helvetas is a part of that. These are some of the countries that we work in. We work in 85 countries. So we did this survey in countries that are affected by war, in settlements of refugees, in occupied Palestinian territories, in rural and peri-urban and urban areas where we work, to understand the impacts of COVID-19 on communities and people. As you know, we all read the newspapers and see the news, and we know exactly how many people are dying of COVID in the United States. It was 500,000 yesterday. But do we know how many people are dying of it in Syria? Do we know how many are suffering from it in DRC or now Tanzania? And these are sufferings that are happening right now. These are the contexts in which we work. We do not know about the extent of the impacts because data is not available. And the whole purpose was to leverage our strength as a network to collect relevant information on the impacts of not only COVID, but also the policies taken by governments to reduce the spread of COVID, to prevent the pandemic from expanding. So in many contexts, this has had differential impacts on people who are already vulnerable, who are in the informal sector, as we see also in the developed economies. And in these countries where we work, the informal economy is very large in size. So our study is important because we did it about 10 months into the pandemic. So we really see the deep impacts, the lasting impacts that it is having in terms of people's coping behavior. And one of the shocking data points we have is that over 40% of households report that they've reduced their quantity of food or the quality of food that they consume because the incomes have reduced, the remittances have reduced. So the first coping behavior of people is to reduce food consumption. So it's making an already vulnerable group of people even more vulnerable. We also see that schools are closed in many developing countries, in almost all of Latin America. In October, November, when we did the survey, 80% of the people, in some cases 100% of the schools were closed. So 100% of our respondents said for 8 or 9 months, the children have not been going to school. And in these countries, the impacts are much deeper because people don't have access to internet. Parents do not have the time or the education to support the children. And in certain contexts, children get only 4 years of schooling. So if you lose 1 year out of your lifelong learning of 4 years, that has a dramatic impact. And these are the things that have been brought out by the study that we knew were happening, but a sample size of over 16,000 respondents from 25 countries gives us very specific and robust data. And I think our study is also important because we immediately act on the findings. We are implementing organizations. We understand the context in which we work. We understand the implications of this data. And we immediately start to adapt our programs, to also advocate with others, to collaborate with others, to address this intensity and depth of impacts that we gathered.